Welcome back to Notre Dame Day, everybody. I'm Diane Daniels, and our next guest is a 2014 Notre Dame alum. Steve Lehmann witnessed the effects of the 2011 earthquake in Haiti. He saw firsthand the devastating impact it had on the children there. That experience led him to create a company that's called Threadies, which helps to restore normalcy to refugee children. Threadies creates teddy bears that are sold as sibling pairs, one for you, and then the twin goes to the refugee child. Steve, welcome to Notre Dame Day. We're so glad to have you. Tell us about the inspiration behind Threadies.
Thanks, Diane. Yeah, the inspiration behind Threadies really goes back, believe it or not, to a papal encyclical that I read a couple years before coming to Notre Dame, called Caritas in Veritate from Pope Benedict. And it says, the individual who's animated by true caritas or true love labors skillfully to discover the causes of misery, to find the means to combat it, to overcome it resolutely. It's a verse that really stuck with me as I was traveling to Haiti, and that inspired me to think of a way that I could discover a particular cause of misery and combat it resolutely. And it's ultimately what brought me to Notre Dame.
So I understand that the first Threadies prototype was actually created here on the campus of Notre Dame. Is that right? And tell us a little bit about the process.
Yeah, that's right. So it took a village to make a child's toy in this case. And we all know Notre Dame can be an extremely collaborative place. In my case, I was able to work with a bunch of folks around campus. Professor Anne-Marie Conrado at the Design School, Melissa Paulson at the Jagot Center, Teresa Sedlak at Innovation Park, all people who helped contribute to the idea as it was formed over the course of my 2-year MBA. And, you know, kind of scrappily, we started out with scraps of paper and bed sheets and made our first prototype that way, right on campus.
We're looking at some pictures right now of children with the actual Threadies bear, and they look wonderful. Now, I understand that when you send these out to the refugee children, you send more than just the bear. You put together what's called a coping kit. So tell us about that coping kit.
That's right. So this is a Threadie as it stands today, and our coping kits are cards that come and go in their pouch. And the idea of a bear going to a kid, it makes kind of sense on the top of your mind that bears help comfort kids. But we wanted to create something a little bit better, a little bit more targeted. And so we took some research from the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. We adapted it into little cards. You probably can't see these, but they're written in Arabic. And they describe ways that kids can do what we call psychological first aid exercises, belly breathing, and different ways of coping with trauma.
So in terms of trying to get these to the refugee children, which sometimes are in such challenging environments, that has got to be tough. How do you work around that?
Yeah, it can be very difficult. For instance, just this last summer, we were in one of the major refugee camps, which has since been shut down because of violence and fear from ISIS on behalf of the international community. So we couldn't go there, and we have to be very flexible. Right now, we're delivering to the southernmost village in Turkey, which is called Reyhanli. And we found an organization here in Chicago that we're working with called the Karam Foundation. And the bears themselves are actually manufactured by Palestinian refugees themselves. So the bears are manufactured there, and they're shipped right across the border to Turkey, where there are tons of kids and families waiting on the border.
So really, it's refugees helping refugees in that respect. So how many of these have you been able to distribute so far since you started Threadies?
Yeah, so far we've distributed about 150, basically trying to get some initial feedback and make sure that what we're doing isn't just dropping something on the ground, but something that really works. And we're shipping, by the end of this week, we're going to be shipping 1,200 to Reyhanli.
Wow, that is impressive. So tell us a little bit more about what's on the horizon for Threadies as you continue to grow the organization.
Yeah, so Threadies is really about connecting kids in the U.S. with kids across the world and sharing that bond of comfort that we all know that stuffed animals can bring in a way. And what we're doing next is we're actually going to be creating a storybook that helps explain the story of Threadies in a child-friendly way, where kids can also learn about different countries, not the violence that's going on in those countries, but learn about the kids who are growing up in Syria or in the Central African Republic, for example. So we'll be launching that book in this year. And we're also working on packaging and getting our bears into retail stores. So keep a lookout in your local boutiques.
Okay, we will do that. Thank you so much, Steve, for talking with us on Notre Dame Day, and good luck with Threadies.